What's good, y'all? It's your man Sight. Today we're going to be walking through my complete lo-fi workflow. Shout out to everybody who's been liking and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate y'all. With no further ado, let's get into it. Let's get busy. All right, we're back in the lab. I'm going to show you a little bit of research that I did. Now, the reason I'm doing research is because if we're going to get a lo-fi sound, we want to emulate the machines from back in the day. All right, most classic, I would say, lo-fi drum machine is probably going to be your SP1200. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so I just did a Google search here in the window. And what you'll see here is the exact sample rate and the bits that machine used. So the SP1200 had a 26.040 kilohertz sample rate and a 12-bit resolution, right? So what does that mean? As far as being an MPC user, you know it's 16-bit and you know it's 44.1 by default, right? So it's a lot higher fidelity. So we want to go low fidelity, lo-fi. What's dope about the new MPCs is it actually has a plugin called Air Lo-Fi. So what we're going to do is on your main screen here, I already have them up, but I'll show you how to put it in. Make sure you hit this crown button over here at the top. Actually, you're not going to see this at first. Of course, you're going to hit the eyeball if you don't already know. All right. And then you're going to hit that crown over there. That's going to bring you to your master channel. Now you can put these effects on your master channel, or if you want, you can actually put them on the program if you just want to do it for a particular program, like a drum program, or maybe you're playing keys or something like that, and you want, you know, kind of like a dirty feel to your keys. All right. But I put it on the master channel when I'm doing my lo-fi stuff. It just gives the entire thing a real gritty feel. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that Air Lo-Fi plugin. Now, normally when you go to your inserts, it's going to be blank, right? And then you'll actually tap on that, and this is just a stock plugin that comes with the new MPCs, whether you're using the Touch, the Live, the X, or the One. All right, now click on that Air Lo-Fi plugin, and you're going to see this interface. Now you'll see it says User SP1200. I actually saved this preset, and I just load it up every time I want to make a lo-fi beat. All right, now you see what I did here in the options. Bit depth, I went to 12-bit, right? Same thing as the SP1200. And this was 26. I put 26.4, but realistically it was 26.04. So I couldn't get it exactly. I think you can hold shift. Let me see. 26.0. All right. So it's close. It's not 26.04, but it's a really close sample rate. So what you'll hear is you can adjust the mix here as well. So when you have this all the way up, and let me turn these other effects off. All right, I'm gonna have a drum kit loaded up. I'm gonna show you with the plugin and without the plugin. This is without it. And this is with it. You can really hear on that kick how dirty it sounds. It's like it just completely it lo-fi'd it out. I don't know how else to explain it. That's without it. It's like a dirty punch to it. It sounds great. In my opinion, it's actually better than using the SP1200 emulation that comes with these, because that's another option. It's quick and dirty, but this way I feel you can really dial in the machine that you want, right? So you also have these options over here: rectify, noise mod. You can experiment with them. It does make it grittier and dirtier in different ways, like you can hear on this noise mod. Can really mangle it up. I think something lower, you know, kind of season the taste, maybe 17. I think I had it on. And this rectify, let's see what that does. Yeah, these are just, you know, basically knobs that are going to allow you to really dial in how dirty you want the sound. Yeah, so I think around, you know, maybe right under 25 should be good for that. And again, this is all taste, so it's not like you have to really figure it out from the beginning. You can kind of experiment as you're making your beat. But what that's going to do is really going to change the way your drums sound. It's going to change the way your basses sound, and it kind of automatically emulates a little bit of that SP1200. Now, what I'll also do is a lot of the new MPCs are really crispy, and the top end is very, very clean. So if you want to dirty the top end up, I use this Air EQ, Air Kill EQ, it's called. This is one way to do it. There's probably a few ways, but this is the way I like to do it. I'll go in here, and I'll just basically click on the high and set the high end to about 5 kilohertz, maybe a little bit less, and I'll just dial it down 3 decibels. That's just gonna make your top end a little less crispy. So it's very subtle. A lot of these effects are very subtle, and you're not gonna hear them until you really put your whole beat together. But I'll just go ahead and let you hear it, what we got so far. It's without the Air EQ. And it just takes out those harsh high frequencies. That's the main thing people don't like about new MPCs and just really new equipment in general. You know, they say it sounds sterile, it sounds stale. It's because, you know, records and vinyl couldn't hit those super high frequencies that these machines have. So if you want to make it more similar to vinyl and kind of like 70s, 80s technology, take off some of that top end, all right? And the third thing I did here on the master channel was add this air tube drive. Now this is completely optional as well, but it added a little bit of saturation to it. What is saturation? It's kind of like an electronic distortion that you get when you run things through a tube preamplifier or any type of old school electric device. It kind of emulates a tube preamp. So you can dial up the drive. This actually sounds good on guitars and stuff like that. But this is just another plugin that you can use that's stock with the MPC that you can just kind of dirty up the sounds. I'll show you this before and after. And it's very subtle the way I did it. You can turn the saturation way up. You can turn the drive way up. That almost gives it like a kind of like a blown out type of vibe. I like that. But we're kind of going for an emulation of the old equipment. So let's bring that down some. I like that. I think the drums are smacking that way. They're dirty. They sound crunchy. My kind of vibe, especially when I'm doing lo-fi. All right, so that's if you're gonna do it like an SP1200, but there's plenty of beat machines back then that we can emulate. Let's try a different one. Actually, let's just Google MPC 2000 specs. There we go. It's the XL, but it was the same sound engine. Two megabytes of onboard memory. Woo, that was a killer. He expanded up to 32 megs. Man, y'all just don't know the struggle back then. Let me see. 32 voice. It doesn't say it. I want to say it was 44.1 16-bit, but let's try another link here. Vintage synth. Okay, there we go. That's the original 2000. That's actually the one that I had. My baby right there. And that's the XL. All right, so yeah, it was 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. All right, so if we want to emulate that, let's go back to that Air Lo-Fi plugin. All right, and we just dial up the bits, right? 16-bit. Hold shift to get the small increments if you didn't know. 44.1, all right? Still sounds crunchy, I like it. Let's take off some of these other ones and see what it sounds like by itself. Really dope, really dope. I like it. Now I'm gonna include the SP1200 inside the project, but just realize that at any time you can go in, do a little bit of research on the sampler you wanna emulate, dial in those exact specs, and that's gonna give you something close to it. Now I'm not telling you this is gonna be a perfect emulation. There's really no way to emulate something exactly, but when you use these, you gotta remember, it's the illusion. You wanna give the illusion that you have a lo-fi sampler without having one. So this will give you something really close. It'll emulate it. And to be honest with you, if you play them side by side, barely anybody's going to be able to tell you which one's which. And that's just facts. At the end of the day, nobody really knows what you're using behind the scenes. It's all about getting the sound that you want. So some people will really dwell on the equipment, and that's cool. But I prefer to have the technology that we have today in the new MPCs and just emulate the sound that I had back in the day. And it's close enough to me, and I actually had it. So some people are like super audiophiles. Realistically, for a working producer who's really trying to get a sound, nobody's worried about that. All right, so now that we have these settings dialed in, let me show you what I put together with it. First thing I did was I laid down a drum pattern. Now, a big thing about lo-fi is you don't want to really quantize much. You can use quantize, but you want it to be set real loose. But I didn't use quantize at all. I went up here to the time correct, hit that off over there, and I completely turned quantize off. And basically I just laid down my drum pattern the way I wanted it. The drum pattern sounded like this. Pretty clean, just swingy, a lot of bounce, and I just played it by hand. All right, so once I had my drums down, I basically just wanted to put a sample up, and I found something that I had in a sample pack. It was real kind of dreamy and spacey sounding, a lot of reverb in the background. I'll go ahead and play it for you. So it's not like a real clear tempo on there. What I did was I loaded it up on a pad with the program edit and hit warp, BPM sync, came on automatically. And basically I just changed the BPM to 120.43. And I did that just to stretch it out so certain points in the sample would hit where I wanted. Now I could have stretched it as well. I mean, I could have chopped it up as well, but this particular one, I was just going for a quick vibe for this video. I wanted to make sure that I had something clean that kind of fit the bill, all right? So once I stretched it and threw it on the drums, it sounded like this. Yeah, and this bass is a stock one that came with the MPC. Comes with the Live, the Touch, the X, and the One. So it's part of a sample library called the Vault, which you download right from your Akai account. Hip Hop Kick You Never Kick 2. So it's listed as a kick, but if you listen to the actual sample, it's clearly a bass, right? So I put it on a key group on track 8, hit the key button over here on the right. And once I was in the key group, this particular one, I wanted to, I didn't want it to play all the way through. I wanted to play it kind of like a keyboard. So I went over here to note on down here in the bottom right corner, put the polyphony in mono, and that just makes sure I can play it on the keys and it's not playing all the way through. All right. Now I also went to set the release at about 60, and I went to pan velocity and I set the root note to C0. You'll see me do that all the time when I'm making key groups. I set everything to C0. Sometimes the bass is not on that exact note, but that just puts the bass in the part of the keyboard that is easier to access. So it'll be more in the middle of the keyboard instead of down at the bottom. So once I had that set up, I was ready to go. Went ahead and played a bass line on top of that. And I kept the bass line loose, pretty much just hitting on the one and just certain parts of the beat right along with the kick drum. And this is what it sounded like. Real cool vibe. Definitely digging that. All right, and that's pretty much all I did. I added one more sound, which was this kind of sprinkle sound. I'll show it to you real quick. I added that on the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. I hit 16 levels and I changed it just a little bit, so it hit like this. Real cool, real loose, real swingy. I mean, that's kind of what I'm into in the lo-fi beats. This is like something I probably would have made in like 98, maybe 2001. Somewhere around that time frame. That's gonna do it for my complete lo-fi workflow. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. And if you're looking to join an online community of other MPC users, make sure you check us out on Facebook, MPC Gang. And that'll do it for today. Catch you on the next one. Peace.